Yo, what's going on? You guys are now tuned back into the Freestyles podcast, and we got another very special guest here today. But you already know, before we tune in, go ahead and hit that subscribe button below. We need 100. Make sure you hit the like button, boost the algorithms for YouTube, and comment. Make sure you guys keep on tuning with the Instagram as well. Make sure you don't forget we got a lot of new things coming. We got some merch coming. Got some new people coming to the team. A lot of big things coming, man. So just stay tuned with everything. Keep on pushing the word out. Without further ado, we go ahead and let our guest go ahead and introduce himself.
So hello, I'm Tom. I known Austin and Ricky for a couple minutes. It's been 3 years now.
Yes.
I'm a graduate student at Illinois State in the chemistry program. What else do I do?
How you asking me what else you do?
Bro, I don't know. I'd be busy like that.
I ain't gonna lie, you probably have one of the most busiest schedules I know on campus. Like, you always running around doing something.
Gotta manage it well, you know?
So how do you keep yourself busy?
I don't keep myself busy. Other people keep me busy.
How do other people keep you busy?
So with grad school, I got my classes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still taking classes. I teach classes, so gotta get things prepared for that. There's meetings. People always got things to say, things they need done. Office hours, and on top of that, I have to do research. So that takes up a big chunk of the day. Then gotta get to the gym. I mean, the gym itself isn't 2 hours, but going to the gym, lifting, showering, 2 hours.
The whole process.
And you still got to make time to do other things that just need to get done, you know? Laundry, eating. And then weekends, you got to hang out with the homies.
Yes.
So, fill up the day quick.
I ain't gonna lie, when you break it down like that, it makes you really realize, you do a lot of stuff in a day without even thinking about it.
There's a lot of day in the day.
You tell me that all the time. So what you currently working on for research?
So for research, I work in a physical organic chemistry lab. So organic chemistry is big carbon molecules. Physical is the physics of chemistry. So I look at reaction rates, and I will tweak the molecule a little bit, see how it affects the reaction rate. Then tweak it again, see how it affects the rate. And then once you get a big enough series of adjustments, you can actually say something about, okay, so now we know how the whole molecule reacts, how this entire part affects it.
So let's say you're working on your research, right? And then let's say an incident happens, you working on your, you said you got to tweak it to see how it reacts, right?
Yeah.
So let's say something is off, maybe the mathematical way you're doing the problem is off. How do you trace back and fix it?
So in research, there's two parts. There is the and there is the search. Mm-hmm. So you always got to come up with new ideas, look at what you're doing wrong. And the other thing is you do the same things over and over and over again. So there's kind of an intuition to it a lot of the time. Chemistry is a lot more like cooking than you'd expect. You know how you don't know how long to put mac and cheese on for? You just cook it till it's done.
Okay.
And you know? Yeah.
That's okay. I never thought about it like that.
So once you get a bit further in your work, you kind of have an intuition. That, and you have a professor you work with. So I have a PI. And this professor, he helps me out a lot. When I'm doing things wrong and don't know, he usually can tell.
That's decent. So how does it sometimes it's hard being able to take criticism, being able to, take advice from somebody else. How do you go about, because, we could be stubborn. As a college student, you could be stubborn listening. So how do you go about, implementing what they're telling you into the next type of the solutions?
So with my research advisor, we have a really good relationship. We're at the point where he's just nah, you're doing dumb stuff. You should try this. And I got a lot of respect for the guy, so I'm he makes good points. Maybe we should do that. But in general, as a life thing, just don't take it personally. A lot of the time, criticism isn't entirely unfounded or unbased.
Yeah. So pretty much anybody listening, just try not to take things personal, I guess.
Some things should be, but not everything.
Not everything.
That's the kind of cliche you hear is don't take things personal. I agree. Sometimes you do gotta take things personal, but when it comes constructive criticism and shit like that, you just got to be able to take it in because at the end of the day, they really want to see you win if they really trying to help you out and guide you in the right way.
Yes.
If somebody trying to give you sauce and give you the keys and shit like that, then they really want to win. So they want to see you win. So listen to them, shit like that.
And it's also the idea of you want to be listened to. Like, you want to be able to, criticize people. You want to be able to, give input and output, I guess. So, in a sense, just being able to take advice from somebody else helps with you giving some advice to somebody else.
Yeah, something I've been thinking about a lot is a lot of the time it isn't like me versus somebody. It's us versus the problem. So, like, the communication is key. Like, while it may seem like harsh criticism, a lot of the time it's actually just like valid problem solving. And don't get me wrong, sometimes people are just being dicks.
Yes.
But if you can put it in the context of, is it me versus him or us versus the problem, you can tell.
That's a good gist of it. Just being able to actually realize, like, you have a problem at hand that needs to be solved, rather than you letting, I guess, your emotions stop you from actually being able to.
I think that's how all good partnerships last. Shit, they stay focused on the task at hand. They don't let emotions get involved in what's going on. They just stay focused at the task at hand, take care of business. That's how shit just keep on rolling.
And it's so it's like, I feel like it's easier said than done. It's like you hear all the time. Sometimes you don't gotta involve your emotions, but like when do you realize as a person, okay, maybe I'm taking this too far. Maybe I should just think this through logically rather than just letting my emotions overcome it.
So how I kind of think about it is, so the thing happens, like you have received the stimuli, and then you feel the emotions. You do not do anything at this point. You process. You have like your first thoughts. You have the emotional response. Then you'll come to the logical response. At this point, you can say, okay, how much weight do I give to the feelings vibes and how much do I give to the logic vibes? Because they can both be wrong. But once you sit down and you look at the whole situation, like, so this happened, where do we go from here? You can kind of like wait it out well.
That's a good breakdown. That's a really good breakdown.
Nah, it's that book I keep telling you to read, Meditations.
Okay, so I know you keep bringing it up and you keep telling me to read it, and I have to read it because I want to read it and also see how it works day to day. So, what's your big takeaway from the book?
So one of the big takeaways is like you can be in the world without being of the world. Shit happens. Don't let your emotional response dictate your like actual lived response. And then just like live according to who you are. Like, you know who you are. At a very base level, you know what's good for you, and a lot of the time, that's what's good for everybody. And it is hard to separate being a selfish prick from like what is good for you. But a lot of the time, you can also like kind of parse it out. You got to judge, but.
'Cause I'm thinking, like, yeah, like everybody got their own, everybody got their own morals, their own values, whatever they bring to the table. So it's just like sometimes I'm thinking like what might be good for me might not necessarily be good for everybody else. So like, how do you try to separate what's good for yourself and then what's good for everybody else?
So there is a balance to that, but like if it's good for you, it is probably also good for other people, because if you're not taking care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody.
Yes.
If a doctor is overworked, overtired, and burnt out, they can't fix other things.
I was just gonna say it go back to being selfish. Like, just you go back to the airplane shit. You gotta put on your mask before you could be able to help out other people when it comes to emergency type shit. You gotta be selfish with taking care of yourself. If you gotta make sure that you straight before you can go out and help other people and do other things like that. Because your glass got to be full before you start emptying over shit. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't build the world without building yourself first.
Yeah.
So I know you touched on the gym. How do you consistently build Tom to be who Tom is?
So it's a very like, I hate saying multimodal because it sounds so cliche, but it's like a very like varied approach. So like, got to put in good time, taking care of your body, eat well, go to the gym. Like if I don't go at least 3-4 days a week, I notice I turn into kind of a moody fucker, you know. But then you also gotta put in time to get the things that like need to be taken care of for like just like the world, you know. So like make your bed, fold your sheets, like keep your stuff clean. And that's a really solid starting place. But then once you're moving from there, you gotta think about like, okay, now active development. So for me, that's where like I'm like learning more about how to teach, so I can be a better person through teaching, but also like actually perform at my job well. And then like reading more, or just putting in more work and research. And then from there, you can continue to expand onto more things like building intentional relationships with people. So you can read books, just go out and meet new people, have a good time. But it's like a pyramid.
And I feel like sometimes like you hear it all the time from everybody that's like successful or anything in life. They always tell you pick up a book, read it. But I feel like it's just some people grew up in this system, whereas like, you know, at least in school, like you got, everybody had to read the same books, everybody had to read. So like sometimes the books that were being assigned to some students were not books that they actually wanted to read. So it just threw them off from the path of actually finding books that they might enjoy.
So for starters, there's a lot of books I read back in high school or was told to read.
Yeah, decent.
Didn't see where I was supposed to be going with these books, and I've come back to them and like
They're decent.
since then, and they're good books. Like I get what the teachers were going for, but like we just wasn't ready
For
we
it,
got 'em.
yeah. It's like they try to push it too early.
Not looking for what we were supposed to be looking for at all. We wasn't even in that type of mindset.
At all.
That and there's
Damn near wasn't. We wasn't even reading the books. Just reading summaries on Spark Notes and shit.
Swoop.
Yeah,
Doing
we wasn't-
shit.
we wasn't
push
really
to get
reading.
it all in the semester, so like you don't actually get to like chew.
Yeah.
That's really the whole thing. But yeah, I mean, like I agree with that shit. Like a lot of the books that we were supposed to read in high school, they really taught valuable lessons. They was good books and shit. We just wasn't ready for them. But
Not at all.
now that we go back to them, it's like okay.
I've had a lot of germs like that.
Yeah.
A lot of books that like I actually go back to now that I'm like, whoa, that's what I was supposed to get from this book.
But I think that's just reading, period, man. Every time you reread a book, it's like you grasp on the new things that you didn't see the first time. Just like when you watching movies, you see shit that you didn't see the first time.
Yeah.
You just keep on going through. It's just life. As you keep on living life, keep on learning new shit, see shit that wasn't there yesterday.
And I feel like like going alongside what you just said, it works a lot, like pretty much alongside with you being aware. Cause like when you pick something from a book from the first time, the second time you go in there, you're gonna pick something totally different. I feel like it's also because you know what to expect in the book, but also your mind is still looking for the unknown.
Yeah, I think awareness is something that's like so underrated. They say like to be aware is to be alive, but man, like that shit is for real true. Like to be aware is to be alive. If you're not aware of shit, then you don't know. You know,
You just trying to get by.
like I don't know how to really explain it other than if you're not aware, you don't know. Like that's really the best words to put it.
Now you gotta be like aware of like how much day is in the day. Like I was
You gotta
telling
be
Austin.
right. You gotta be aware that you gotta drink water. You gotta be aware of shit. The time that's in the day, what you got going on.
But there's so much like really subtle, cool stuff in the world that people don't notice because we just on autopilot. Like you probably showered today, yesterday.
Yes.
So what if I told you hot water sounds different than cold water?
Yeah.
Like that is so cool, and we just turn on the shower and forget about it.
Would you
Like,
say that cold water is a little bit harsher sounding?
Yeah, it's like crispier. It's
Yeah.
more like sharp.
Yeah, you can hear that in the shower. You can hear that.
But there's so much super cool stuff we just don't notice because we're not paying attention.
Is it because we're not paying attention, or we have made it? It's been normalized, whereas in like we do things on autopilot, so it's just like everything else. We feel like it's not a problem.
I think a lot of the time we just go on autopilot because it's convenient. Like there is pros and cons to it. Like you got to spend your thinking on other things. But I think we miss a lot of like really nifty stuff because we just don't be slowing down.
And that's I just sat down. It just hit my head. I'm like, damn, like
You said we miss things because we don't slow
we don't
down.
slow down. Cause even when you tell some people, even in the classroom, they used to be like, hey, just the kids that moved around a lot, they used to tell them, take a seat. Literally just take a seat. And they still couldn't take a seat.
Let's just go back to shit. You gotta listen 2 times more than you
Talk.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. You gotta absorb more than you putting out because you gonna miss shit if you don't.
There's an interesting quote along what you just said. They said you have 2 ears, 1 mouth.
Yeah, shit. It's right there in your face, man. You gotta listen more than you talking, bro.
And I just like you said, you touched on when you don't go to the gym, you feel like at least 3 to 4 times a week, you feel like your mood is off. When does that shift like continue to happen for your whole week, or does that shift change right when you're going back into the gym?
Kind of depends. Like if I miss like a day or two, it's probably a real subtle shift. I miss a week. Getting back in there just one day is like a huge bump.
Yeah.
So like the longer it's been, the more a single gym is good. But like kind of ebbs and flows.
So how do you consistently build yourself to go at least 4 times a week?
You make time for it. You will make time for the things that you want to do, and you will not do the things you don't make time for. I write out a big old like yellow legal pad of all the shit to do every week, and it's got like Monday, gym, meetings, blah, 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 office hours, like all the things for the day. And I got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday all blocked out. Some of them say morning gym, some of them say nighttime gym. Go with different people every now and then, have people that hold you accountable, but you'll make time for what you want to make time for.
That's 100% true. And it's also the idea of, like you said, go with different people at different times, have people hold you accountable. I feel like that's something that, like, most people don't really realize. Like, sometimes we all have things we want to accomplish. We all have things we want to do. But sometimes you need that one friend, that one person next to you. Be like, okay, you get enough track now. Come on. We've come this far. You get enough track now. But I feel like sometimes it'd be hard to find those. Like, if you have those people, keep them around with you.
Also, you gotta be able to take it though. A lot of
Yes.
people can't take that. They'll be like, who is you to tell me like I'm getting off track and shit? Like they don't know how to take go back to the first thing we was talking about, constructive criticism. They don't know how to take that in and shit like that. It's just again, if you got somebody around you that's really taking the time out to point out something like that, they really care about you. So keep them around, but you got to take that in and use that as fuel. Don't use it as like they trying to bash me and shit like that. 'Cause that shit don't lead nowhere. But
Nowhere. Because you thinking somebody's in competition with you the whole time, they're trying to see you win.
right,
Yeah.
he's trying to elevate both of us. So he just hoping that shit if and when that does happen, because we all fall off here and there. If and when that does happen, that you can just pick him up and tell him the same shit. Hey, bro, you falling off. You gotta
go back now.
You gotta pick it back up. You know.
Nah, we all got to pick each other up. If you're staying on top of your things, like if I'm going to the gym and I don't see you for 2 weeks, I'm gonna be like, Austin,
Where you at?
where you been? I ain't
No,
seen you.
literally, where you at?
At which point you will say, wow, I haven't made time, and you get back in.
And that's the thing, bro. You got to accept when people come to you. You got to accept it. Be like, damn, I ain't made time for it, bro. I have been bullshitting. You got to own up to it. Don't just. And then when you own up to it, be like, all right, bro, I'm gonna be in there tomorrow. I'm gonna be in there tonight. Don't just I ain't made time for it. I see what you got to make a plan. Okay, now let's get back on it. I didn't have my time to bullshit. Okay, now let's get back to it.
Accountability breeds responsibility. Like you saying, when you hold yourself accountable, and you know deep down that you are better than whatever bullshit you just pulled, you gonna find the reason for you to go do it again. Go redo the thing that you just missed. And I feel like that's something that like a lot of people don't realize. Like the more you hold yourself accountable to something deep down, you are gonna find the time to do whatever you didn't allow yourself to do.
And again, I think people make time for what they want to make time for. So like you got to ask yourself, like, have my priorities shifted? Like what's changed? Because once you get a balance going, something's got to shift the balance. It don't just change.
And it's like you know when you bullshitting, bro. Like
You gotta know.
you know when you getting off track. You know when you bullshitting. You know when you tired. Okay, let me take a day off. You know when all of this shit. You know when it's been 2 weeks since you done did some shit. You know when you know when you headed down that wrong path. But it's just like when is you gonna be like, all right, that's it. Let me wake back up and do that shit. Sometimes we need somebody to tell us. Sometimes that bank account get low and they tell you like, all right, let me stop bullshitting. Sometimes the grades get low and they tell you, all right, let me stop bullshitting. But it's always an indicator somewhere that be like, all right, bro, you gotta wake back up. It's not a game right now.
And
Something else I'd be thinking about is like the ability to reprioritize, because like with how much like stuff I got going all the time, when I got a week with 3 tests, we're still going to get to the gym, but instead of 5 days, let's make it 3. And instead of going out 4 nights that week, let's make it 2. Because then once the tests is done, we can get back in the gym more, we can go see the homies more, but like you've got to be able to kind of like shift the juggle.
That's something that's interesting that you said. I don't even I'm not good at that, but I gotta focus. I gotta be more aware of that. Fucking that shit do change during the week. Like shit's not the same every week.
Yeah.
Shit, sometimes you gotta go to the gym 3. Sometimes you can go 5. All right, let's push heavy this week. Next week I know I'm only be here 2 or 3 days because I got work, couple tests, podcast, couple shit going on. So I'm gonna be here 2 or 3 days. But then after that we back to it. Shit like that. That's something that you gotta be aware of. Shit.
But like 2 weeks ago, I had 3 tests, like real big study week. But this week, all my classes, teaching canceled for election day, so I was able to like get in the lab more, focus on things I ain't done, get in the gym more, like see people I don't see as often. When you got time, use it well.
I think that's a big thing. We don't understand how valuable time is, man. It's only gonna start going faster as we get older. Time
The older you get.
it just speeds up. We don't understand how valuable that shit is. But I'm as we getting older, I'm starting to realize that shit just that the hours in the day that you have is very limited. It's very limited,
Really
especially when you're talking about 8 hours, 16 hours mandatory already gone every day for work and sleep. So plus another 2.5, 3 for eating. So it's already 18, 19. Then try to work 20. So you probably got 4 hours of free time, give or take, 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah, and it's important to prioritize. Like you got that 4 hours, what you gonna do with it? But also like not to like disrespect on rest. Like sometimes you do just gotta sit the fuck down.
Yeah.
Like
That's true.
post up on the couch, empty brain, no think. Like watch a TV show, get nothing done. It's good for you. It's self-care.
yes, and like you, I want to go back to how people don't realize like how valuable time is. Like when we were kids, when we used to be around teachers, when we used to be around adults, they used to tell us. They used to tell us all the time, "Don't waste your time." They used to tell you all the time,
Yeah.
"Don't waste your time." There's gonna come a time where you wish you had this amount of free time. You wish you had this, and I didn't really understand them until recently. For real, just like damn, like they was not lying. Like they was really trying to tell me.
It's a lot of the time already taken up. You got classes,
You gone.
homework. It's a lot of the time that's already taken up. You gotta really make time for, like you said, you gotta make time for shit that you really want to do.
But the other thing is, if you want to do something, you will find the time.
Yeah.
I don't know where you're gonna pull it from. Whether it's like
You gonna find it.
you're gonna study less or
Gonna
sleep
find it.
less or like multitask more. But if you want that like hour to do something, it can always be arranged.
You gonna find it.
So when things are important, like you can move the schedule.
So let's say, okay, check it out. I'm gonna try to see if you can move your schedule to face this. So let's say you had a lot of tests, but you have this one big project that for yourself that you got going on, like there's a project you've been working on, and let's say you have it, like let's say you have how many classes you take?
I got 3 right now.
So let's say you got 3 tests coming up in all 3 classes, but you have a big project you've been working on, and let's say Also, you gotta grade a couple assignments and a couple homework like that. Like, and in a week, where do you find the time to be like, okay, I'm gonna study for my test today, tomorrow, and this, and then where you gonna find the time to work on that project that you've always been wanting to work on?
So I'm going to assume it's a chemistry project.
Yes.
Because that keeps all my things in one place,
Okay.
which is convenient. But a lot of the time with a chemistry project, there's a lot of stop, go, stop, go.
Mm-hmm.
You set up your flasks, they bubble and make the chemicals go. Now you got to wait an hour. In that hour, I'm going to grade. In that hour, I'm going to study. You can piecemeal things, you know? While I might have 500 pages to grade this week, well, it's 30 pages for this class, 30 pages for that class. That's all one assignment. This is all one assignment. You can break it down into chunks, you know?
Yes.
And in terms of studying, you don't have to study all the content in one block. So, like, for my computational class, I can study the coding stuff for an hour here. I can study, like, the theory stuff for an hour here. Practice problems. Like, you can piecemeal your things. And it might just be, like, my, like, ADHD coming out, but you can kind of juggle things like that. Run something for 30 minutes here, go do some over there. Run something for 30 minutes here, go do some over there.
I feel that's what he just said is really good for any college student for real. Like,
It's actually very productive, more than trying to hash it out 3-4 hours straight studying, or 3-4 hours straight of doing straight one activity. That's actually more productive.
But it is like planned out. Like, I'm not jumping between things willy-nilly. It's I know this reaction is going to be 4 hours, so I'm going to grade assignment 5. That'll take me an hour. I'm going to go get lunch. That'll take me an hour. I'm going to grade assignment 6. That'll be an hour. And then I've got a couple minutes of, like, flex time in there. So while it is piecemeal, it's very deliberate.
Okay. Very
Like,
intentional.
you're not just zipping around.
Right.
so when you plan things down, how important is writing them down?
No, that's like the key. If you don't write it down, you're going to forget.
Okay.
You've seen the big yellow legal pad of
Yes.
all the things for the week.
Yes. Ricky, remember? That used to be a fat ass book.
Yeah, and it's Sunday morning. You write down the week, and you do leave extra room on the pad for, like, more detailed planning later. But, like, as of right now, Sunday night, I know 90% of what I have to do for the week.
Damn.
Like, yeah, some things come up, but that's what that little section at the end is for.
So much better than I'm doing right now. Because it's just like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, there's been moments where it's like, is it really important to write it down? Like,
No, writing it down is the key, because, like, I got my little Monday section. If I get to Monday night and I see I skipped some stuff, I'm just like, damn, could have done better. If I don't see it on the paper, not crossed out, I ain't going to think about it ever again.
That's true.
Until it comes back and someone's like, so did you grade that? And I'm going to be like, grade what?
That's true.
that's really valid. So it's pretty much like it keeps you on track of all the tasks that need to be done. I had a counter argument with that. So pretty much, like, so I always thought deadline meant 3 things to people. Okay, I thought one, deadline is, okay, if I get it done, I get it done. If I don't, fuck it. That's one.
Yeah.
2, oh my God, if I don't get it done, my world is coming to an end. That's how some people might see it. 3, this shit is not gonna get done anyways.
I was going to say, when I'm writing my list, there are, like, a couple types of deadlines. There is this must be done and must be correct by X amount of time. There is, like, this needs to be done, but I know there is time to revise it and improve it later. And then there's things that are like, this is on the list because I would like to get it done today.
Yes.
So yeah, like, on my list today, like, clothes for the week, laundry, number 1. Sheets, number 2. Cleaning shoes was number 3. If we didn't get to cleaning shoes, it isn't the end of the world. Because clean clothes, clean sheets take priority. But if I don't do it today, it ain't getting done.
Okay, because I was like, I used to sit down and think about it. Like, I feel like sometimes I I blame the schooling system. Oh no, because that's just because like I just feel like it has made a lot of people see deadlines as either really good or really bad. You know what I'm saying? I feel like how people react to deadlines throughout the school year, low key dictates how they end the deadline in real life.
Yeah.
And it made me sit down. I was thinking about it, I'm like, damn, like that's kind of fucked up. If nobody really learned how to understand the meaning of a deadline. Because we weren't really taught to understand it. We just you have a project due next week. Have it done by next week. But some people might wait till the day before to do it. Some people might do it a week before. Some people might do it 3 nights before. It makes you see who really, decided to see, okay, who saw the value in such projects. And I feel like it kind of correlates to how people handle deadlines in their day-to-day lives for real.
Yeah. And I think the other thing with a deadline is a lot of people think, okay, I can cram the whole thing right before the deadline. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the time it works. I'm guilty of like abusing that fact a lot. But I notice things come out better and they go smoother if you see the project, start of the project, you see the due date, and you go, okay, what's a reasonable goal for week 1, 2, 3, 4? You kind of intentionally set it up to piecemeal. Because a lot of things you're going to wait on response times from people. So, like, if I need to get some papers for my research, and I'm going to have to wait for the library loan, if I know I need them Friday, I'll send it in Monday so that I can read them on Wednesday or Thursday.
Give yourself a couple of days.
Yeah, so like the further you start setting up your project, the more wiggle room you have. Because then, if I'm ordering the papers Wednesday, I have to read them Thursday so that they're ready Friday. Well, like let's say my family's in town on Thursday. Now I've got to read papers. I'm screwed. Versus if I get them Wednesday, I can kind of finagle things around and make it work.
That's a really good way of planning. Just being able to plan things kind of ahead, and if they don't go as planned, okay, but it's still there. You can still look at what you had to follow to make sure everything is going as smooth as possible.
Because the earlier you get moving on things, the more flex time you have, the more you can kind of like work things around.
It's just another one of those cliches shit. The earlier the better. I just hate that cliches. Just damn.
It be true.
They want. It's so true. Every cliche is so true. Every cliche you hear is like, damn, I really got to do that.
So I really cliche for reasons.
Yeah, I really got to take this throughout my whole life. I got to carry this with me every day because this was really gonna take me. It's just like discipline. It's one of the most simplest things, but it's really what separates
a lot of people.
The 0.1 and the 1%. That's what a lot of separates.
People wait for inspiration and motivation, and they just ain't there. Discipline's how you get it done.
Yeah, because those things come and go. Mm-hmm. Inspiration, motivations, they come and go.
Run with them when you got them. Don't count on them.
They come and go.
It's like the person that does things when they're motivated, it could go somewhere. But the person that does something every single time without the motivation is gonna go so much further than the person that just always waits for the motivation to pop up.
Yeah, discipline is, I don't know, discipline is like it's the key. Shit, it unlocks everything, I think.
Yeah. So with my research, like I'm writing this big old thesis that's due in like the spring, right? Mm-hmm. And inspiration and motivation are really nice. If I have a day where I'm like, no, like I'm just gonna get in there and like do a thing, like it'll be great, like got some free time, let's get in there and do it. I mean, a lot of the time really cool things do come out of that. But if I waited and only did things when I was motivated or inspired, I'd have nothing done.
Oh yeah.
It's I'm going in for 2 hours every day and getting something done. It builds up.
It really do add up. And it's like, I know this might be it's like the idea of like this. Okay, so let's say you are a busy man. Let's say you are a busy individual, right? And let's say, you don't have the time to do anything else, but, you got like 30 minutes to do whatever, right? I'm at this stage of life, stage of life where I'm like, sometimes it's even like, if I could take 5 minutes, I don't really got to do shit for real. If I could take 5 minutes and just think about what I have done throughout the day and what actually made my life worth living.
Yeah.
Like, even 5 minutes, you don't even gotta, don't stress yourself out trying to make this as complicated as possible. Just sit down 5 minutes. Damn, Austin, you got this done, you ain't do this. But what made your life worth living today? You start to actually see the purpose of your life. You try to find the meaning of your life. How do you influence other people? How do other people influence you? So let's say you sit down, you write for 5 minutes. You come back out of it with a better mindset. Like you realize your contribution to society. And I feel like a lot of people lack that, because a lot of people is the idea of, damn, if I don't show up, nobody cares. If I don't do this, nobody cares. But when you start to realize your contribution to society, you start to prioritize. Oh, meeting people for the first time. You start to prioritize going to those meetings. You start to prioritize going to that class, going to that game. You start to prioritize the small things that a lot of people might be like, if I don't do it, nobody's gonna care.
Yeah.
It just goes back to being aware. Shit. Once you become aware of all this shit, with the impact you have on people, the resource that you can be. Once you become aware of all that shit, it's like, okay, now I'm 10 toes down on all this shit. I'm locked in now because I see what I could do for people. I see what my services do. So I'm here now.
And I feel like that's something that a lot of people should start looking into for themselves, you know. Because, bro, who is to say if you wasn't here, the next person is not going to suffer? You know? Who's to say if you wasn't here, the next person, man, maybe even have a good life, but you don't know. But it's just you being able to ask yourself those questions, try to find the answers to that. Nobody knows the answer. You don't know what he's thinking. I don't know what you're thinking. Nobody knows the answer, but it's still being able to get to the gist of it, being able to get to the bottom of it can help you as an individual realize that what you actually bring to the table for real.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people bring things to the table that they're not even like.
They don't realize.
Aware they're bringing.
They don't realize.
Because they carry those things with them all day, every day. They've taken them for granted. So, like, other people be like, oh, wow, this guy brings all these things in when he comes in with them. And, like, that's how they enhance the team, the environment. But, like, I'd be walking around with that all day. I got no idea.
You have no idea until somebody brings it up. So why don't you take the time to actually see what everybody else sees in you that you don't see for yourself?
Bro, that's how it be. You have no idea how good you are at something until somebody pointed out and be like, bro, what the fuck? you so good at whatever the fuck you so good at. They notice that shit right away. Like, damn, that's really a talent you got. A lot of people I know can't do that.
Can't.
They're not like that.
Can't.
The other thing with talent, again, it always comes down to discipline. I got this buddy, Jeff, and he just picks up hobbies and he'll grind at them. Mm-hmm. And he's always seeing his own, like, fruits of his labor, and he doesn't think he's that good at them all the time. Like, a couple weeks ago, he came here with a pie. He's like, hey, here's a leftover pie I botched. Like, y'all want it? It was a good pie, like 10 out of 10. I'm like, can I get more of these? Like, you keep putting in time with discipline on things, and, like, you can develop, like, real skills and not even know it.
Yeah, I think it's just patience is another one of those things. It's so simple, but discipline and patience, I think you could damn near rule the world with those two things. Never getting too high, never getting too low.
I think so too.
I think discipline and patience, man, that's it.
Because if you're patient, you're disciplined.
Yeah. They go hand in hand.
Say, with patience and discipline, like, it all goes back to you got to enjoy the journey. The destination is nice, not dissing the destination, but it's the process.
All in love with the process, man. That's what make the destination so sweet. It's the process.
It's like, yeah, like, even going back to, you know, your research, like, it'll be by the springtime having the whole thing done is good and it's really like inspirational and all that. But it's just like when you get it done, when you see the final product, you're gonna be like, damn, this amount of effort I put in, the hours.
And, like, finishing the thesis is going to be really nice and it's going to be incredible. But if you don't stay disciplined and make sure to enjoy the day to day, like, what are you doing it for?
Yeah.
Because I can't justify 2 years of consistent work all for, like, 15 minutes. Damn, that's nice at the end.
I want to go back to before we wrap up, I want to go back to fucking like just enjoying the process. Like if you notice like with everything that you do in life, so say you finna take a vacation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think like the process of you like going to the store, getting all your toiletries, making sure your bag is packed,
Mm-hmm.
getting your boarding ticket, the process of going through the airport, boarding a plane, getting your check bags, checking into the hotel. I think the process of all of that it's damn near weighs more than the destination that you're going to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just the process, just all of that.
Yes.
It just feels so good doing
Yes.
all that shit. That's damn near 80% of the trip itself. It's just the process of getting ready to board this plane. And okay, once we're there, all right, cool. But it's like we went through the process already. We checked into the hotel. Okay, now we chilling. Now we cooling. Don't get me wrong, you still gonna have fun, but it's like that whole process is what adds to it. It's just like when you like say you're getting ready for homecoming or some shit. The process of going to buy your outfit, coming home, getting your haircut, putting that shit on, you taking pictures with everybody before you even go in, shit. That just the whole process of that shit.
Yeah.
It adds to it. It's just you fall in love with the process of everything.
Say homecoming week always better than the actual dance.
Oh yeah.
That's the process. Everything that's leading up to it.
Cause you know, like the moment you go get your clothes, go get your shoes, go get a haircut, you know you look good.
It's the process.
The dance is always bussin', but it's the process.
No, and I feel like that's what any aspect of life, anything you like, you're gonna do. You're gonna have to at some point enjoy what you're doing to fall in love with the end goal. You can't have an end goal if you don't enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah.
You really can't.
It's the process and the after party. I think that's the
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing. That's the shit that's most exciting.
It's the process and the celebration
It's like
of the
it's like
process.
it's like when you going out to party. The pregame, that bitch busting. You get to the party, yeah, it was fun, but then everybody come back home
drunk.
That's the pregame and the after. That's better than the actual party. Not nothing against the actual party, but it's just those two is something.
I think it's the process itself and the celebration of the process.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
the post game.
Yeah,
And it's also the fact that me personally, I always enjoy like after party when people come back and drunk, talking, all that stuff. I personally enjoy that just because it's the fact that like I ain't gonna lie, when people are drunk, bro, they touch you in a different type of emotional level that you don't necessarily always have. Like they might share a little too much information at times, but shit, still, it's the fact that like that they hit another nerve. They hit another nerve.
It's more raw.
Yeah, it's like more emotional. Like, cause at the end of the day, like most people gonna be like, I'm not gonna remember this. Like you be in a conversation like, I'm not gonna remember anything.
Like it filters down.
It's like I'm not gonna remember this shit tomorrow. So it's just everybody brings our whole raw emotions to the table when everybody comes back from the party, from the bars, whatever it is, drunk, just talking. And I feel like we take that shit for granted as college kids, bro. Because some of your best friends, some of your closest friends are from like those moments. Like you got to share a vulnerable side of yourself that you don't always normally show. Because when you're sober, you're going through the emotions. You're going through. No, I gotta get this done. I gotta get this done. But when you're in that stage, it's just like a burden leaves your shoulder.
Yeah.
A burden leaves your shoulder. So like you feel like you more like in tune, you more raw to have a conversation with somebody.
that's true. That's 100% true.
It'd be so weird.
Process, man. Fall in love with the process. I think you just gonna be more not. I guess I hate using the word content, but you're just gonna be more happy in life.
You're gonna be happy.
You fall in love with the process, you'll be more happy in life. Be more grounded. I think
Yeah.
You won't be so so worried about what everybody got going on social media, shit like that. You just be more grounded. Fall in love with the process. Improve every day. That's the biggest thing. If you're just seeing some type of improvement every day, every week, every month. Shit, if you in the gym, try to take some progress pics every month type shit. See what's going on with your body. And if you can see like the little changes and that wasn't there last month, shit like that. Oh, I'm looking a little bit slimmer, a little bit more cut this month. As long as you can see shit like that, I think that's the wins that we need.
Oh yeah.
The other thing is, just because you going in there trying to make progress, you don't always got it. You got to look at the long trend because, like, I know in research, like, we'll have big booms of productivity, and then you got to go back to the drawing board and figure out the next part of the project, and then you got to figure out each detail of it, and then you get a big boom of productivity. I feel like the gym's kind of the same way. It goes real good for a while, then you kind of plateau, then you break through and you're going up again.
It's damn near like the first month you are in the gym, you're gonna see the most change. You're gonna see the most progress. You're gonna see the biggest weight differences, the weight changes. And then once you're in there for like 2 months, you damn near almost the same weight. You are damn near you pushing the same weight, but it's just you slowly building strength, but you're not realizing that yet. And then that's when a lot of people give up. That's when a lot of people quit the gym. When
they really should revamp what they do.
Yes.
Instead of giving up, just tweak it
a little bit.
Say, change it up a bit, take a new perspective.
Yeah, well, you really should revamp and recreate. You that's what a lot of people give up at.
Cause they're like, I'm not seeing nothing, bro. I've been in that bitch for 3 months. I ain't seen nothing, bro. And then he was like, bro, I don't be gonna go to the gym no more. I don't be gonna do it no more.
Just gotta revamp and reinvent yourself. That's something I learned recently. Shit, just don't be afraid to reinvent yourself. Don't be afraid to just try new things. That's the biggest thing. Don't be afraid to try new things, man. Yeah. You don't know what you're good at until you try.
That and fresh perspectives. Like, you guys probably see a lot of it with the podcast, just bringing in new people, new backgrounds. Like, you put new things in, you get new things out.
And it's always really good to, because it's the idea of not only sticking to one demographic or only sticking to the same people coming on here. Because at the end of the day, it's a talk show. It's a talk show. So you want to be able to get as many perspectives. We all don't think the same. Me and Ricky certainly don't think the same. And we run this, but we still don't think the same. So just being able to get a lot perspectives, and ain't nothing wrong with expanding your knowledge on a topic. Because at the end of the day, for all I know, I don't know what books you've read. You don't know what books I read. So pretty much, if I'm able to still understand your point of view, even from a different background, from different places, still be able to understand your point of view, that means you are well educated. I'm somewhat well educated because we're able to, conversate or communicate our ideas and actually get people to listen and take something away from it. And I feel like that's really hard sometimes because some people be stubborn. Some people be stubborn because I said, oh, I know what I know. You ain't gonna tell me nothing different. But this is pretty much like, no, I don't know what you know, and you don't know what I know. What can you tell me that's different that I can use for my day to day?
You gotta constantly be like building that better foundation.
Yeah, it's always growth. Like I was told, always pick a growth mindset over a fixed mindset, no matter how successful you are. Because at the end of the day, you might lose it all one day, and guess what you did along the way? You burned all the bridges.
That's why we say at the end of every podcast, never stop learning. Because the minute you stop learning shit, you damn near dead.
It's over with.
Never stop learning, man. Never stop trying to. I don't care what it is, bro. If you learning how to cook something new, bro, great.
Go ahead.
You learn something new. If you learning how to fix something around the house, great. You learn something new. Fix something on the car, good. You learn something new. You read a chapter of a book, great. You learn something new, bro. Just continue to expand your knowledge on whatever it is you got going on. If you got kids, you learning how to parent and shit like that. You learning shit new, man. That's the.
And sometimes it's subtle stuff. But like, it builds up. Yeah. Like, you don't have to learn how to cook a new dish every day, but like, I do be learning subtle things all day, every day.
You got to.
You just never stop learning. The moment you stop learning and you become stagnant,
ain't nothing there for you.
That's when you become dead. You're not alive no more.
It's like, as a human, I feel like the whole point of being a human is to evolve. That's the whole point of being a human. You learn in every science class evolution.
It's the journey, man.
We always evolve. So pretty much it's just being able to consistently make something better and just try to make the world better for the next generation. That's all this life is for. This life is not for you to just be the top person. Yes, it is. It's at some point, but you still gotta be able to look past you. You gotta still look past your generation. You gotta still look past, because at the end of the day, I feel like as a human, you're supposed to leave the world in a better place for the next generation. That's how I think the human process is. Sometimes, as a society, we forget. We lose track of that. It's just everybody gets stuck in the me. But the whole time it's supposed to be us. Because I ain't like we are one group. If we really break it down, we are literally one group. We are the human race. They call us the human race. We are one group.
My mom says it takes a village.
It always takes a village.
It's true.
It always takes a village to push this world into the best direction that this world is supposed to go ahead to. It always takes a village. One person can't wake up and be like, "I'm gonna be the change." Somebody also has to listen to what that person is saying to in order to continue that change.
Bro, as I always say, you go fast alone, but you go farther together, bro.
You always do.
It's just the biggest thing. You go farther together, very far.
Yeah.
That's the thing we gotta
Have
realize,
that patience, discipline, time management. Build your boat, and you could put more people on it.
Absolutely, man. But man, it's been a very fire episode, man. Touched on a lot of things, a lot of gems. Always a pleasure.
Always,
time, man.
Yeah.
Always.
You always got knowledge for you. You always got game.
One of the most knowledgeable people I've met down here.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
You might not go that far. I am going that far.
Really,
it's
though.
always good to be on here with you guys. You guys got good things to say.
Definitely, man.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure to have you on here. Before we let you go, you mind sharing your Instagrams where people can reach you at?
So on Instagram, I'm Thomasaurus Rex, like a Tyrannosaurus Rex, but it's Tom. I'm Tom.
That's a clever name.
artsy, says something about ISU. It's probably me.
That's a clever name. But before we go, please don't stop learning.
Never stop learning, man. It's the Freestyles Podcast. We out.
We out.
Brothers on the front line got a